What's up, guys? Nathan Sprague here with Debt Freedom University, and we are finally at a point where we've put together our budget, we've input all of our data into the Debt Freedom Matrix, all of our debt information, our savings, investment, asset accounts. We've extracted our free cash flow numbers from our budget, plugged them into this Debt Freedom Matrix template here to calculate our monthly debt weapon, which is the amount we're going to redirect from money we're already spending or money we already have today towards attacking these debts and paying these down, utilizing the debt snowball and or debt avalanche process. And so we're now at a point where we're ready to take that data and plug it into the debt snowball or debt avalanche calculator so that it can show us, it's basically going to spit out a step-by-step process showing us the exact sequence of events, each payment we need to make each month towards which account, and it's an interactive calculator, so we can make changes as necessary, as often. If circumstances change, you can update it as frequently as you like to, kind of get the latest projection of when your debt-free date will be. And that's another thing that the calculator will show us is it will calculate exactly how much you're going to save in total avoided interest charges by implementing this process, as well as how long it will take you to become completely debt-free and how much time you're going to save. So it's a really great interactive calculator, but we're now at a point where the rubber meets the road. We're ready to take all this data that we've spent time compiling, plug it into these calculations to have it spit out our unique plan of attack to put this process into motion and begin seeing results. So you want to make sure you have your debt freedom matrix sheet pulled up here, and then we are going to use it's an online calculator. It is the best calculator I've seen anywhere it does both the debt snowball and debt avalanche methodologies. It does the calculations, it shows you the results, and again, shows you the exact sequence of events. We'll show that here in a second. But the great thing is it's completely free. There is a premium version. It's super cheap. I think it's like $12 a year, so like $1 a month. And I think you can tie your accounts in and do some more automated things to it. But the free version is all you need to accomplish these results. So I will pull that up here. So here it is. The website is called undebt.it, as you see up here. That's the URL for the website, undebt.it. And then there's that'll take you to the home page. You got to go to a drop down here to access the snowball and avalanche calculators. I've provided a link directly to this calculator below the video here. So once you go there, we are going to take data from our debt freedom matrix here and simply plug it into to this calculator for it to calculate and generate our plan of action. Again, the sequence of payments we're going to make towards each account every single month, and it's going to calculate the end results for us. So I am going to, and I should say, because this is free, there are some advertisements here on the website. That's just the nature of using a free tool like this, is you're probably going to be hit with some ads, but this is the best tool that I've seen. I've done a lot of research to try and find free tools and free calculators for us to use that implement this process that we're teaching. So let's just dive into the data. So I'm going to I guess before I get started, I'll just kind of show you, should be pretty self-explanatory hopefully, but up here in the top left drop down, you can select whether you want to use the snowball or the avalanche. There are some other strategies here, but I'm only going to talk about the snowball and the avalanche. I recommend you use one of those two. Again, the avalanche is going to be your true fastest path to zero. You will save the most amount of avoided interest payments, and you will pay your debts down the fastest using the avalanche. But the snowball typically gives you some earlier payoffs and gives you, kind of some emotional encouragement and motivation in the beginning to keep the process going as you kind of snowball some of those smaller debt service payments in the beginning, and really the results, the difference in the results between the Snowball and the Avalanche are really, really marginal. So if you're in between the two and not sure which one you want to go with, I would say use the Snowball, just because, again, you're going to get a little extra emotional boost from seeing some early results there. But we'll start with the Snowball. When do you want to start this plan? Depends whether you want to start making these payments this month or next month. Let's do next month here, and then we're going to simply plug in data from our debt matrix into these rows here. So up here in the top right, this is very important, the total debt payoff budget. Okay, we go back to our matrix. That is our debt weapon amount, but it's also including all the minimum payments we're going to be making. So at the end of the day, it's exactly what this number here in the bottom right green cell shows us. So the total monthly debt payment, it is this number. So we're ultimately going to be paying $3,870 towards our debts, and that includes our minimum payments that we're going to be making on all of our debt service obligations, plus our debt weapon amount that we're going to be attacking these debts with utilizing the Snowball or Avalanche. So the number you need to plug in there is this number in the bottom right green box here, the total monthly debt payment. So $3,870. So let me go back to that here, and I'm going to put $3,870 into here. Okay, and then from there, I'm simply going to add in all of my debts here. So the row you see here shows account name, current balance, minimum payment, and interest rate. So this is part of why we compiled this data in the debt freedom matrix. So we're simply inputting this data from the debt table into the calculator there. And so we've got, let's see here, we've got 8 debts. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I've got 8 rows here. And then let's get started. So I'm just going to plug in some data here. Actually going to pull this over to a different monitor here so I can have them pulled up at the same time. And bear with me just one second, but I'm gonna enter all this data in here. So again, I'm just pulling this data straight from our debt freedom matrix. Discover card. And you don't have to put this in any specific order. As I mentioned in previous videos, you don't have to do the sort to sort, from lowest balance to highest balance for the Snowball, or highest interest rate to lowest interest rate for the Avalanche. The calculator will do that. So it doesn't really matter what order you enter these in. So I'm just entering them, minimum payment on the Discover card, $365. I'm just entering them as I have them entered into my spreadsheet here in kind of random order. Okay, balance 7511. And please feel free to speed through this. I may speed through this portion of the video for you to get over the monotony of watching me enter data here. 15.99. Oh, actually, I see that I am actually using the Avalanche approach already, and that I'm entering these in from order of highest interest rate to lowest. But again, you don't have to do that. You can enter them in any random order. It's going to organize them and do the calculations for you. Okay, 20,000. $7.9. Oops. 1, 14,682, 406, and 3.95. Mortgage, 245,000, 1078, 2.99. All right, so I've got the data entered. Again, just to pull the sheet back over here, all I did was enter the data from this table on our debts and making sure that, I'm only entering the minimum payment debt service amount in this column. So I'm not including any of the extra payments, just the minimum payment only, because that extra payment is going to be redirected towards our debt weapon number here. So that's where I'm extracting that data, and that is everything you see here. So now I'm going to scroll down and simply, when I click go, it's going to do the calculations. And in this case, we're going to be utilizing the snowball method that it's going to be calculating. So it's going to be organizing these in order of lowest balance to highest and attacking the lowest balance first, and then snowballing those debt service payments as we get those paid off, in addition to our debt weapon amount, so that we've got a larger and larger number that we can attack each subsequent debt with. So I'm going to click go here. It's going to do the calculation. And so if I scroll down here, I see the results. So here we've got essentially the end result of all of this work we've done to compile our data, put it into the debt freedom matrix, putting this data into the calculator. This is the end result. So this is just kind of showing us the sequence of events, how much we're going to pay towards each account each month. And then at the bottom, if we scroll down, I want to jump to kind of the results first. So on the left here, you see, kind of the current status. If we were to continue doing exactly what we're doing today, just making the regular payments like we are currently, it shows the total principal and interest that we'll pay. The total interest of that, so 543,000, just a little over. Of that, we're paying over $179,000 in total interest. That's 33%, just a shade over 33% in total interest over that time. And it's going to take us 28.3 years to pay off all of our debts. After implementing our process, we go over here to the right, we see the total principal and interest is $434,000 with a total interest of $66,000. So if we take the difference, we can see what we're saving by implementing our process here in interest. So we were paying $179,000. Now we're only paying $66,000 in interest. So in this case, we're saving what is that? Over about $103,000 that we're saving in avoided interest. So by implementing this process, we're saving over $100,000 that we're putting back in our pocket by implementing this process. And look at the years until we're debt free, 9.3 years. And that's including the mortgage. And really the only reason that's, as long as it is because of the mortgage. So we're going to pay everything off, including the mortgage, in less than 10 years by implementing this process. And we can go down here and see exactly when the months to pay each subsequent debt off are. So you can see here we've got all the credit cards and autos paid off here in 30 months. So basically 2.5 years. We've got all the credit cards and the auto loans paid off. And then in basically just a shade over 4 years, we've got all the student loans paid off in addition to that. So in basically just a little over 4 years, we've got all of our debts paid off with the exception of the mortgage. And then from there, we're going to be paying on the mortgage for another approximately 5 years before we've got that completely paid off. So hopefully you can see the tremendous advantage. This is just a graphical representation of each debt and the payoff timeline. But hopefully you can see, right here in black and white, how tremendously powerful this strategy and this process is. Now, kind of scrolling back up to, our kind of specific course of action and sequence of events and payments we have to make each month to each account. So I want to explain how this works. So this is going to, as I'm shooting this here, it's November of 2020, and I selected start next month. So the first month it's showing me this is December 2020. So it's showing me the city card is my lowest balance. Again, this is the snowball approach, so we're attacking the lowest balance first. We're going to make that 907 total payment towards the city card for 2 months. Then in month 3, well, it shows it as month 4 because we're starting next month, but we only have to pay $822.54 to pay off that card. So we then have a slightly larger payment to make to the Visa card that month. And then from there, once the city card is completely paid off, we roll that debt service plus our original debt weapon amount plus the payment we were already making on the Visa card all together, and we're now making a $1,087 payment on the Visa card for another 8 months until the Visa card's paid off. And so what this shows you really is month by month. Each month is a row here. So it's showing you the exact payments to make on every single one of your debts each month, which all you really have to do is, nowadays you can set up auto payments on pretty much everything. So just set your accounts up to make only the minimum payments on every account except whatever the smallest debt balance is that you're attacking that month. You're going to make the extra payments towards that. So if we just pick a month here, let's scroll down to month number 20. So we're almost 2 years into this process. We've paid off these first 3 accounts. So we paid off the city card, the Visa card, and the auto number 2. So now we're making a $1,837 payment towards auto number 1, and then we're making our minimum payments and all the other balances. So again, it's just showing you the exact sequence of payments to make on each account every single month. So again, our clearly defined plan of attack here. So that's how that works. And then I want to quickly show you, let's scroll down just to get a quick snapshot of the results here. Total interest with the Snowball we pay is $66,131. Payoff time is 9.3 months. So let's go back up here and change this to the Avalanche and see what changes. So all I'm going to do is switch to Avalanche. And I'm going to click Go again, which is going to recalculate this. Okay, so again, it's organizing my sequence of payments, and now you can see it's a slightly different priority because we're going from highest interest rate from left to right on these accounts to the lowest. So again, showing you the exact same process month by month, what payment to make towards each account. And then as we scroll down here, let's look at the difference in results. Okay, so obviously nothing's changed from our existing circumstance, continue doing what we're doing today. But if we look at the results of implementing the Avalanche, we're paying a total interest of $64,000. If you remember with the Snowball, it was $66,000. So we're saving an extra $2,000 by implementing the Avalanche instead of the Snowball method. And then the timeline is 9.2 years instead of 9.3 years. So basically we're saving ourselves 1 month and approximately $2,000 in avoided interest payments that we're putting back in our pockets. So as I mentioned before, the difference between the Snowball and the Avalanche is usually very marginal. Having said that, I would typically recommend that you go with the Snowball, again, because you're going to see some more immediate results because you're attacking those smallest balances first. You'll snowball those debt service payments together pretty quickly, and you'll see typically quite a few results and payoffs within that first year or 2 year period, which can, again, give you some nice encouragement and motivation to keep going. So anyway, that's how the calculator works. I hope that all makes sense. One thing I will say in addition is that the beauty of this process is that you are not locked into anything. So because we're not consolidating loans, we're not signing any contract to implement some specific program where we owe specific payments or anything like that. If circumstances change you can always come in here, make changes. You know, if you add debt to your balance, you can come in here, change these values. You know, if you're able to negotiate lower interest rates, change these values. And if, you know, for whatever reason, let's go back to our debt freedom matrix. Let's say, you know, 3 months from now, you have an unexpected expense pop up and you have to pay an extra, I don't know, $500 to fix your car or something that was kind of unexpected and it wasn't your budget. And maybe, you know, you can't make the extra $857 payment towards this process. Maybe you can only pay $400 that month. That's okay. You just make a lesser payment towards whatever payment is due. So, you know, let's scroll up here and let's say it's month 5. So with the Avalanche here, we're paying $1272 towards the Discover card. That's the account that we're attacking during this period, where every other account is just making the minimum payments. Well, you know, we could reduce this amount by that $500. If you don't, you know, if you have $500 less to attack your debts that month, well, instead of paying $1272, you would pay $772. So the beauty of this process is that it does not lock you into any defined payment plan. You have total control and flexibility, and you know, you can come in here and update these values as they change, as necessary, as frequently as you like. And I believe if you sign up for a free account with undebt.it, again, it's free to sign up, and I believe it will auto save. Actually, I know it will. It will auto save all of this data for you in your account. So all you have to do is log in. You don't have to re-enter all this data every time. Your information and your data will be saved in your account, so that if you need to log in and make changes, you know, month to month as necessary, you can do so and just click the go button to recalculate your course of action, and it's going to recalculate the sequence of payments that you need to make on each account. So that is the other beauty of this whole process, is you are not locked into anything. You have complete control and flexibility. And then, you know, finally, hopefully you see here in looking at the final results, this process absolutely works, but it does require you to actually execute the plan, go out and take action and implement the process, and actually do it in order to see these results. But if you do, again, it's just simple math, and there's no disputing this will work 100% of the time, because it's just simple math, and that's all there is to it. It's just a matter of you executing and following through. So anyway, again, this video has gotten a little long here, so I'm going to jump off, but I will post the direct link to the calculator here below this video. I hope you found this informative, and we'll see you in the next video.